All right, go ahead, people. Dr. Nicole McCarty here. Y'all, I'm back. Thank you. Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well and is blessed and highly favored. My cousin always sings that and it cracks me up. So anyway, today we are going to talk about how my light just went off. Okay, I'm back. We are going to talk about what Americans get wrong about South Africa. So, and this is coming from a place of transparency, observation, all the things. And so, yeah, let's get in. Right. So before coming to South Africa, we heard a lot of the same things. Like, we're going to South Africa. And a lot of the same things would come up, like that it's unsafe, or questions about whether it's underdeveloped, and the fact that it'd be completely different from what we're used to. Well, yeah, that's the point, right? But instead of just accepting that or going with perception and narratives, we did our own research, right? We asked questions. We looked at YouTube individuals who were over there, who were making a life. And yeah, we came to experience it for ourselves. And I'll be honest, listen, best experience ever, okay? We didn't come expecting everything to be perfect, let's be clear. But with that, we also didn't come expecting everything we heard to be true, because we had done research. We knew better. So we kind of knew what to expect. We didn't know what to feel, because the feeling that you experience when you're on the continent is unmatched. And I don't know if I can really explain it. And as I've spoken with other expats, they're like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's definitely something you just got to feel, right? And you feel it, like it's hard to miss, you know? And so I'll tell you, what we found was something much more layered, right? Some things matched what we heard, but a lot of things completely challenged the narrative that we already knew was a false one. And so in this video, I'm just sharing like what Americans get wrong about South Africa. I can't speak on other parts of the continent. I do know that other parts of the continent share many of these same false narratives, and it is not like that, you know. But I can only attest to what I've experienced myself. So I'm sharing what happens when you choose curiosity over assumptions and experience a place for yourself. And hopefully this will serve as an informative piece, an informative video for those who've thought about going, who've desired to go, and so on and so forth. And so let me back up. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Nicole McCarty. I'm an integrative health doctor, expert executive wellness strategist, and you know what? We're a family who loves to travel and explore. We're learning through real life experiences. We're on our expat journey. We homeschool. We do all things, right? We live life with intention. And there are some things that, you know, we have yet to do. And then there's some things in which we've done, right? And so South Africa stretched us in ways we didn't expect. In this video, I want to talk honestly about what Americans tend to get wrong about South Africa, you know, because while we weren't those Americans, we certainly came face to face with a lot of those narratives. And even though we preemptively defended them based on our research, it was nice to experience it so that we can furthermore say, no, this isn't even what I've seen, like by way of someone else. This is what we've experienced. And so I think this conversation matters because, you know, sometimes what we think we know can completely limit what we experience. And if you allow a narrative that you aren't certain is true to prevent you from experiencing something beautiful, then How sad is that, you know? Okay, so the first misconception is that Africa is all the same. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. And people tend to have it without realizing it, right? Even with us, I would be the first to admit it's easy to kind of group and think of Africa as one big place, like one culture, one way of life, one type of experience. And you don't really, I don't know if it really hits you how diverse, like, you know, it's diverse, but I don't think it really hits you how diverse until you actually visit and experience it. And once you're in the midst of it, you're like, oh, okay, I get it, right? So, but South Africa alone is incredibly diverse. I mean, you have different languages. They have 12 official languages. 12. Let that sink in. 12 official languages. And English is one. Just saying. So they have different languages, different cultures, different lifestyles. They have cultures within cultures within cultures, because you got like the tribes. It's very cool, very diverse, and even different depending on like where you are, whether you're in Durban, whether you're in Cape Town, whether you're in Johannesburg, like it's different, right? And so you can be in a modern city one moment and then experience something completely different, just like a short drive away, right? That was one thing. I noticed our kids didn't skip a beat. They knew it was different, but they adapted. They asked questions. They took it all in. Some things they understood and some things they didn't. But even at their ages, they ask now, almost every other day, when are we going back? And so that means something, right? So that's one misconception. The second misconception is that it's unsafe everywhere. Ooh. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this one. Safety, safety, safety. Oh my goodness, like that's the number one thing, right? Before we came, this was, I can't tell you the number. Like that was everyone's concern. Is it safe? Is it safe? But is it safe though? And I appreciate it, because that means like people care about you, right? If no one is asking, if no one cares, then you probably should be evaluating your circles. Just saying, But honestly, yeah, I think because we'd done so much research, it wasn't something that we were thinking about. It wasn't at the forefront of our mind. We knew that we would operate and we would move as we would anywhere else, right? I mean, you don't go and just lose your spidey senses. You keep them on, But what we learned quickly is that safety in South Africa is not like one simple answer, So of course, there are places where you need to be aware. Yeah, right? And there are places where you feel completely comfortable, And let me tell you, there are plenty of places in the U.S., in the U.S. of A., mind you, that I would not venture to. Okay? Why? Because I know better, and I'm not that curious, And so, and I've heard like stories of tourists in other places. I'm not necessarily in like Africa or South Africa, but in other places, going off the beaten path and going, I want to live like the locals do. I get it, I do, but they do that with no knowledge, no research, no guidance. They didn't ask anybody. They didn't ask any locals. And oftentimes that does not work out well for them, right? And so we don't play those games over here. No. No matter where we are, no matter what country, no matter what continent, head is always on a swivel, okay? We are always aware. And so, just in a lot of U.S. cities, you don't move the same everywhere. You adjust. Right? And so here's the thing. It's somewhere new, right? You always have to approach it. It's somewhere new, whether you're moving to the next town, it's somewhere new, whether you're moving to the next subdivision or to the next estate, it's somewhere new. And so it's not about living in fear. It's about moving with awareness, right? And so we learn to pay attention, to ask questions, to observe how, locals navigate their own environment, because they do this every day. And so that changed everything for us. I would implore anyone who travels to do the same. You don't have to know anyone, But a conversation goes a long way. It doesn't mean you have to just have diarrhea of the mouth either. Don't mean you have to tell all your business. you know? So again, safety, like use your common sense, right? So that's misconception number 2, the whole safety thing. It's unsafe. It's no more or less unsafe than anywhere else, in my opinion. The third one is there's no modern infrastructure. So I'm not going to say that this one didn't surprise us. I think it didn't surprise us by the time we made it there. But when we started doing our research, it was surprising and inspiring and brought a sense of pride to be able to see and be like, y'all been telling us these lies and it is gorgeous, right? So I think a lot of Americans picture Africa and assume there's like this lack of development. They assume that like there's no running water or there's no electricity, there's no internet, and I'm pretty sure maybe in some places, maybe deep in the bush, I don't know, but that was not our experience in many places, okay? In any of the places where we went. The airports, the restaurants, the shopping areas, the shopping centers, some of them were just as developed as to what we're used to, and in some ways even more thoughtful. And so I remember when we went to the Mall of Africa. Number one, it's huge, okay? And it's not even the largest mall. I think the largest one is Four Ways, I believe. But went to the Mall of Africa, gorgeous, huge, okay? Huge. And like, I couldn't tell you the last time I went to a mall here in the States. It's been a minute. Like, I think things have kind of transitioned into outdoor shopping centers. Listen, home delivery just spoiled me. So it's been a minute. But I remember walking into the mall and thinking, man, this feels real familiar, but better. It was clean. Oh, cleanliness. I think they say cleanliness is next to godliness. I think that's the phrase. But clean, organized, family friendly. And then, so you have that. Now, outside of some of those structures, like for instance, the airport in Cape Town, you can have that. And then right outside of that, you might see something completely different, a completely different reality. And so that stark contrast, that's something that was surprising, because generally, in the States, they've migrated away, and so you don't get this contrast of economic disparity in such a close proximity, so that contrast, that was something different, that was something different. But another example that I do want to highlight is the cleanliness. I'd say it, the cleanliness, y'all, doesn't mean that it was like pristinely clean everywhere. No, of course not. But guess what? It's not clean everywhere, anywhere. Okay? In America either, right? So what we did find refreshing though was like the cleanliness of bathrooms throughout, right? And so if you're American, then the state of public restrooms can be real sketch. Okay? Almost every restroom that we used, no matter where it was clean. Whether it was fancy and modernized or older and traditional, it was clean. They were clean. And that stark difference to the reality that you meet in public restrooms here in the States, yeah, in my opinion, it shows a real level of pride. It shows appreciation, and, it may seem small to some, but for us, like that was a big deal. It spoke volumes. It did. I'm not saying there aren't areas where that might not be the case. I don't know. I can only speak from my experience. That is all. Right. So that's I think that's the third one. That's the third one. Yeah. Let's see. The fourth one is the misconception that the culture is similar to America. And watch how I worded it. The culture is similar to America. So this is where like it can be really humbling. First off, in America, we move fast, right? We're focused on efficiency. We're always on to the next thing. We don't really take time to savor the moment, enjoy the moment, be present. We don't really do that. But in South Africa, people acknowledge you, you see. They greet you, they see you, they care about you, they care about how you're enjoying their beautiful land. And at first, it can kind of catch you off guard, you know, because they tend to be inquisitive and you're like, oh, because you're not used to that. But then once you understand the culture of people, you're like, oh, yes, well, yes. And you don't mind sharing a bit of yourself because you're sharing a bit of yourself with someone who doesn't mean you any harm, with someone who wants the best for you, you know? So it made us slow down. It made us be more present. Not just with others, but with like each other as a family. And I feel like there's a deeper sense of connection in like everyday interactions, right? And that was something we didn't expect, but we really, really needed. And I don't think it was something, I think it was something like you don't really know you need it until you experience it. You're like, man, that was good, you know? So yeah, so that's one. And then the other one is that it's just about the safaris. I know like when most Americans go to South Africa, it's just like, I want to see the elephants and the rhinos and the lions. And that's great. It's great. And the wildlife is absolutely amazing. That part is very real. We did not get to experience the safari. We actually chose between the safari and the elephant sanctuary. We chose the elephant sanctuary because it was more conducive for our little kids. But it's definitely on the docket for when we get back, you know. But South Africa is so much more than safaris, you know, so much more. Oh, like there's so much history, there's so much culture. You know, for us, some of the most meaningful experiences had nothing to do with the animals. They had to do with the people and the community and the experiences, whether it was something as simple as shopping at the store or meeting up with other expats in their community there or going out to eat. You know, it was the people and the community. And so moments like cultural experiences and food and fashion with Karachi clothing and conversations, those are the little things that stayed with us. You know, those are the things that our kids remember. Don't get me wrong. They definitely remember the elephants. The elephants were dope, okay? But there were other things that collectively changed us, if you will. And so I said all of this to say, South Africa didn't just challenge what we saw, right? It challenged what we thought we knew. It challenged the narratives that have been fed, right, to us about South Africa. And we experienced Johannesburg and Cape Town. So I haven't really talked about Cape Town yet. I haven't really shared our experiences in Cape Town yet. And I will. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it. I got a lot of things in the fire, a lot of irons in the fire. I'm working on it. But I will say this. I think that that's the beauty of travel, right? It stretches you beyond your assumptions. And everything is an assumption until you experience it, until you learn it, until you know what you know what you know. And not by way of what someone has told you or what the media has shown you, but it's what you know to be true, right? And so if you're considering going to South Africa, go open. Go open. You might be surprised by how much you learn and, you know, not just about the place, but about yourself, you know, because it can reveal things about yourself. So yeah. So if this shifted your perspective, even just a little bit, go ahead, like this video, like, follow, share, subscribe. I think that's all of them. Yeah. Share it with someone who's been curious about South Africa. Share it with someone who has been curious about the continent. Share it with someone who's told you something that you know is not true about the continent, you know. And I'd love to hear, what's something that you've heard about South Africa that made you pause or question. And then for my South African fam, hey, how are you? Sobona. What is a misconception that you'd like for not just Americans, but for those who aren't from there, who are visiting? What is something that you'd like us to know? What is something that you'd like for us to put to bed? And like, stop thinking that, because that's not true. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's all I have for today, y'all. So I look forward to the comments and what you all will share, of course. And stay tuned. I've got an interview with hubby coming up. Yeah, he's going to tell you about his experience, because y'all have heard mine. But I had the request from a gentleman to hear a man's perspective, to hear my husband's perspective. And so, yeah, so y'all stay tuned for that. I'm still going to, I know my series go long. Y'all, I apologize. I'm working on it now. I'm working on it. Probably, I don't know, I might drop it on Tuesday, what my numbers were for my scouting trip, for those who might be planning one or desiring to plan one. So I'll probably try to drop those numbers maybe on a Tuesday. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, listen, it's coming. Okay, so y'all stay tuned, like, follow, share, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Love and blessings. Toodles.